It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Silent Hill is a third-person survival horror video game for the original Sony PlayStation. Published by Konami and developed by Team Silent, a group within Konami Computer Entertainment Tokyo, it is the first installment in the Silent Hill series, a series that is now 8 games strong. And 1999 marks the 20th anniversary of Silent Hill. The question is, will Konami do anything to celebrate?
The lever!
Probably not. Released in North America on January the 31st, 1999, and in Japan and Europe later in the year, Silent Hill tells the story of Harry Mason as he searches for his missing adopted daughter after a car accident in the mysterious town of Silent Hill. While searching, he stumbles upon a cult conducting a ritual to revive a deity it worships. Depending on various actions that the player makes during the game determines which of the 5 possible endings you'll receive, including one joke ending. Unlike earlier survival horror games that focused on protagonists with combat training, the player character of Silent Hill, Harry Mason, is an everyman and cannot sustain many blows from enemies and gasps for breath after sprinting. Have any of you ever played Silent Hill? If so, did you play it back in the 90s or did you come to it as a retro title later in life? I'd love to know how many of you at home have actually played it and whether you liked it or not. Was it right up your street and you played it again and again to get all 5 endings? Or was it just really not your cup of tea, with the clunky controls and the dodgy textures just not really doing it for you? Fun fact, I actually used to know someone who used to feel sick whilst playing Silent Hill. He put it down to Harry's movement and the textures messing with his head. Either way, I'd love to hear some of your Silent Hill stories in the comments down below. Obviously, Silent Hill was compared to the Resident Evil series.
Jill Sandwich!
People saying such things as a shameless but slick Resident Evil clone, and saying that Silent Hill was Konami's answer to Resident Evil. But whereas Resident Evil took a visceral, action-orientated approach to horror, Silent Hill wanted to induce fear into its players by attempting to form a disturbing atmosphere with the use of fog and darkness along with grainy textures, although it was noted that these were heavily used to disguise the limitations of the PlayStation hardware. Reviewers did feel, though, that this actually worked in the game's favour. Music also added to the atmosphere. The engrossing and ambient audio was praised by critics, saying it will set you on the edge. What was less well received though was the voice acting. Aside from it being very wooden and sounding like it's the actor's first time reading the script, it's accompanied by pauses between the lines that spoil the atmosphere.
Glad to hear it. You from around here? Why don't you tell me what happened?
Wait a second, I'm just a tourist. I came here for a vacation. I just got here.
Some critics did say that the voice acting was better than that found in Resident Evil 1 and 2, but that wasn't really saying much. Silent Hill was commercially successful when it was released, and it was reviewed positively. Even back in 1999, reviewers and critics considered it to be possibly one of the greatest video games ever made, because it emphasises atmosphere and psychological horror over the B-movie horror elements that made games such as Alone in the Dark and Resident Evil popular. Why have I kept this thing with me? Silent Hill is played mainly in third person, although occasionally the camera will switch to a fixed angle for dramatic effect. You wouldn't think it now, but at the time this was a massive change for the survival horror genre that had, up to the release of Silent Hill, stuck with constantly shifting through a variety of static camera angles to create a level of tension, such as not being able to see what was just around the corner. A staple of the survival horror genre that Silent Hill didn't change was that you have no heads-up display, or HUD for short, meaning that the player must use the inventory screen to check things like ammunition and health levels. Throughout the game, the player must confront a variety of monsters with both melee weapons and firearms. Because of the game's emphasis on the everyman protagonist, Harry is inexperienced in handling firearms and therefore the player's aim is often unsteady. To assist with avoiding monsters, early in the game the player finds a portable radio that alerts you to danger with bursts of static. Along with the radio, you'll find a pocket-sized flashlight to help you see through the fog, but the light only illuminates a few feet. To help you navigate the town, the player can collect tourist maps of each area, but they can only be viewed when you have sufficient light. As you explore, the map is updated with places of interest and inaccessible paths. As well as maps, the player must find keys and solve puzzles to navigate through Silent Hill. Now, the dream of this life must end, and so too must the dreamers within it. For over 20 years this game has denied its own fate. For 20 years it has lied to its own console. But now is the end of days, and I am the Reaper. Konami started developing Silent Hill in 1996 with the aim of making a game that would be successful in the USA. They were looking for something with a Hollywood-like atmosphere. Akira Yamaoka, the composer on this and other Silent Hill games, said that the personnel and management team of Konami had little faith in the game's developers due to them being slow and the team not really knowing how to get the Hollywood feel out of Sony's little grey box. In the end, the developers decided to ignore the profit-orientated approach of the parent company and the limits that they had put on them, and instead introduced a fear of the unknown as a psychological type of horror. Silent Hill would be a game that appealed to the emotions of the players instead. The game director, Korichiro Toyama, hadn't had much experience in horror games at the time, but he did have an interest in the occult, UFOs, and enjoyed the films of David Lynch. Over time, he thought up the game's scenario and made the plot vague and contradictory to leave its true meaning in the dark. The game's artist, Takeyoshi Seto, corrected the inconsistencies in the plot and designed the game's cast of characters. The game was shown for the first time to the public in E3 of 1998, where it was met with high praise and applause. Seto said that the game's development team intended to make Silent Hill a masterpiece rather than a traditional sales-orientated game. They opted for an engaging story that would persist over time.
Oh God, what have I done?
Oh God, it was you, all along. So, Littles and Jelly Spoons, it is that part of the video where I play a little bit of the game that I've been talking about and give you my experiences with it and share some fond memories, shall we say, of when I played this game. We are obviously playing the NTSC version, the North American version of Silent Hill, as shown here by the fact that you've got photographed with the shadowy figure in it. And we're obviously going to start by playing the introduction to the game, which I love. The music in it is brilliant and I think it sets up the story beautifully. So let's go. Start. Okay, so we've obviously just seen that. Again, it shows the game. It sets the story brilliantly. Harry and his daughter driving off, and suddenly they swerve. They're in a little bit of an accident. That's obviously the beginning setting. So let's go for a normal playthrough. I'm getting a little bit of echo. I don't know if you chaps are getting it on the actual video, but I'm getting a little bit of audio. Okay. Here we are. So Harry wakes up after the car accident. He doesn't quite know where Cheryl is. Cheryl? Can't see her in the fog. And this is obviously meant to represent him running into town, but it's actually a cleverly disguised loading screen. Interestingly enough, Silent Hill is loosely based on an actual place in America, somewhere in Pennsylvania. I think it's Centrilla or something like that. The idea is that the idea around Silent Hill is that there's a mine that has caught fire underneath the town, and that is throwing up all this ash into the atmosphere and sort of into the clouds, and it's raining down upon the town. And exactly the same thing has happened in this place in Pennsylvania. A mine caught fire, and apparently to this day is actually still burning. See Cheryl there running after Cheryl. Yeah, it's apparently still burning to this day, and it's still causing ash to sort of rain down on the town, and it is a little bit of a ghost town. Although apparently I think people still do live there. It's a little bit of an odd place. It's one of those places you kind of think,
where are you going?
Kind of would like to go and visit it at some point, but I don't.
Hey, wait!
I don't.
Stop!
No, maybe not. Anyway, sorry, I've just got to run after my daughter. Cheryl, come to Daddy. Come on now. Come on. Come on. Run, 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 run. Oops. You can hear her footsteps. Going to run down here. I think if I stop now. See the whole thing about the everyman. He sort of pants after having to sprint for any amount of time. Oh, there she goes. It's through there. Beware of the dog. Let's go after it. But oh no, it looks like the dog. Something's happened to the dog. What is this? Now, this introduction to a horror game is, I think, one of the best ever done. So, can you hear in the background there? You can hear the sort of alarms going off, and you're sort of pushed into this very tight corridor, still sort of obviously looking for your daughter, and you're not quite sure which way to go. And sort of going down there, and you're noticing that it's getting a little bit tighter, and also, is it getting a little bit darker? Why, yes, it is. That's strange. It's getting darker. Harry has a bit of a shuffle, and he finds some matches. Now, what the game is actually doing is it's leading you into what is known in the business as a meant-to-lose confrontation. Yeah. A broken wheelchair. What's this doing here? The point is you have to lose this next confrontation to progress with the game. I'm going to see how long I can last. Oh my god, what's this? See, a bit more sound. This horrific thing, blood all around, a random wheelchair, a hospital trolley, sort of Dutch angles. It's a bit more sinister music. And as we go down here, even more blood, bits of body parts.
What is this?
A strung up,
What's
disemboweled
going on
body.
here?
And here we go, right. Ah! Oh, get off me, get off me, get off me. Go on, get off me, get off me. Woo! Run, 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 Harry, run. See how long I last. Woo! Oh, no! It's got me legs. It's got me legs. Now, the controls are a bit of a bastard in. Oh my god. Run back, run, no. Come on, I'm gonna be able to get around you. Oh dear. I didn't. I don't know how long it lasted, I'll flash it up on screen. But the idea is you're meant to lose that fight, and then all of a sudden, wake up in a diner with the policewoman on the motorcycle. Oh my god. Now I do think it's very odd in this next scene that he never sort of brings up the motorcycle
Was I
bit.
dreaming?
Must have been dreaming.
How do you feel?
Well, I've just been slashed by little babies.
Oh, like I've been run
Demon
over by a
children,
truck.
zombie children or demon
I'm all right,
babies.
yes.
Interestingly enough, they are
Glad to hear it.
one of the main,
From around
in
here?
fact I think the only main
Tell me
change
what happened.
in the European and Japanese release
Wait
to
a second, I'm
the
just a
North American
tourist.
release. A lot of people back in the day,
Came here for a
sort
vacation.
of early 2000s
Just
when this
got
game
here.
sort of got a little bit of cult following, people always
I don't
used to
know
say,
why.
"Oh, have you played the uncensored version?" When they actually meant the North American
I'd like to
version
find
was
out
never an
myself.
uncensored version of the game. For some reason, the European and Japanese versions of the
Have
game
you seen a little
changed
girl?
the little stabbing demon
Just turned
babies that
7
we saw
last
there
month.
into
Short, black hair.
sort of similar things that just
My
had
God.
like big claws wasn't
Sorry.
slashed you, so it wasn't so much for stabbing
The only
motion, it was
person
more
I've
of a
seen
kind of like
this town is
slashing
you.
motion. Effectively it was the same
Where is everybody?
creature. Other
I'd
than
tell you if
that,
I knew, believe
and I think it's a newspaper article towards the end of the game that
From
doesn't
what I can
appear
tell,
in the
it's
American,
bizarre
the North
stuff.
American version, which is sort of a bit of an appendix newspaper
know.
article. They're
Hmm.
the only sort of major changes. So I never really
What's your
understood
name?
why people sort of said that the European
Harry.
version was the censored version
Harry
and
Mason.
the American version was uncensored. It was
Sybil
like
Bennett.
no, they just changed one of the monsters in it.
I'm a police
That's
officer
really
from
all it
Rams,
was.
the next town over.
Anyway, back to the game. Okay, so this is where you pick up the torch and the radio. The torch, I think, is over here. Yeah, flashlights, take it. Some health drink or Yakult. I don't know why it's called DX, which I think is roughly based on a Japanese energy drink. I think that's right. That's how you save your progress. Someday someone might experience these bizarre events. Hopefully they will find my notes useful. I'm not going to save, don't worry. Whoops, sorry Harry. Go this way. You also pick up melee weapon, which is fucking useless, but we'll take it anyway. And another health drink and the radio here. Now the radio, he points out the radio is broken and you can't hear anything. Go outside, so we're going to equip the gun. There we go. Put it there. Ready up, go outside. I didn't mean to do that, Harry.
What's that? Huh. Radio. What's going on with that radio?
Walk over to it. And oh my god! I've accidentally pressed the map button again. Run, 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 Harry, run! Oh! I think I've wasted a bit of that.
This is not a dream. What's happening to this place?
Who knows, Harry? Who knows? So now it'll allow you to take the radio with you. There we go. And it will give off bursts of static, different types of static depending on what creatures are around you. Yeah. Okay, let's go outside. Where could Cheryl have gone? I guess I'll check that alley again. You can check the alley and I think it gives you a bit of a clue of where to go next. Just off. Now, if we run up this way, and just outside the cafe, there we are, some more ammunition for the gun. Lovely. There we are, some handgun bullets there. I'm going into the convenience store, don't mind me. Yeah, when I played Silent Hill for the first time, I found the controls, if anything, in the later game very frustrating. In fact, I think a couple of reviewers even sort of mentioned that realistically they are just frustrating. They are very, very tank controlly, and it sort of makes, as you saw with me trying to avoid those creatures in the alley, you can't really make sort of pinpoint sort of movements. You sort of just roughly, in the way you sort of think, oh, that's an interesting jump there, Harry. And the way you think you need to go, you just have to sort of go that way and hope for the best. So, I don't need to save, because I'm not going to save. I think I've stripped this of everything. So, it wasn't until, I think I played it quite a bit, got to a point where I got frustrated, and then put it down for probably the best part of about 9 months or so. Woo, I'm going to run off, you're not going to get me. I'm running off! Screw you, motherfuckers! Back down this alley, we're gonna run down here. There it is! There it is! Put you down! Now what I should actually probably have done is, oops, I've gone to the map screen again, didn't mean to do that. Oh shit, no. Reload, there we go. There's a dog down here, I think, demon dog. Oh no, there's another flying thing. There it is. Don't get up, doggy. Don't get up. There's another doggy down here. Yeah, you get over there. There we are. Stomp him to death. Right, beware the dog. I fear no demony dogs. And yeah, back down here. Well, anyway, to school!
Isn't the Cheryl sketchbook? She's at the school.
But yes, anyway, Lils and Jelly Spoons, I think I am going to leave it there. That's given you a bit, hopefully given you a bit of a rough idea of what Resident Evil, what Silent Hill is like. Well, Lils and Jelly Spoons, I hope you've enjoyed this little look at Silent Hill and its 20th anniversary year. Like I said earlier in the video, if you have any Silent Hill stories, I'd love to hear them. Pop them down in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to show your appreciation by clicking the old like button and sharing this video out with your chums. If you'd like to see more of this mush and you haven't already, please click the old subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell. I upload videos every Wednesday. And as a final note, if you're seeing this, I'd just like to say, as I always do, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. I really do appreciate your support.